I've been quiet about it, but I'm ready to just say it. TCU has a very underrated freshman in Keylan Abrams who can make an impact right away for the Horned Frogs.
You are Locked On Horned Frogs, your daily podcast on the TCU Horned Frogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
That's right, Locked On Horned Frogs, your team every day. I'm your host, Steven Simcox. I've been covering TCU athletics for the past 12 years. We're brought to you today by Monarch Money. Don't mess around with your finances. You just can't do it. Take control of your finances. It's not just a budgeting app, it's a wealth management center. Monarch Money, download it today. Brett Yormark, he's always turning over every rock, trying to find some more money, some more revenue for Big 12 schools. An interesting idea on the basketball TV rights front. They're adding a TV partner or a streaming partner for Big 12 basketball. I don't think it's great news for fans, but I understand why they're doing it. I'll tell you later on in the show. TCU soccer. Aside from TCU men's tennis, probably the most consistent program in TCU athletics. They are picked to win the Big 12 conference. We'll hit on that in segment 3. But we start today with fall camp news. And there are freshmen on this roster that are going to contribute. I think Chad Woodfork's going to get some playing time. I could see John Schobel getting some snaps. Ed Small, I mean, he's been the talk of everybody since he committed, really, as far as like, this is a dude that could play right away. Maybe Terry Shelton as well at wide receiver. Ed Small's a slot receiver. Terry Shelton on the outside. But one player that when TCU landed his commitment, I was immediately intrigued by him. You watch the tape and you're just like, man, this dude is special. Keylan Abrams played his high school football at DeSoto. Top of Texas high school football, like competing against some of the best schools in the state on a week-to-week basis. Played Duncanville every year. Played South Oak Cliff. A lot of the really good, really talented DFW schools that you're like, oh yeah, that's the top competition in Texas high school football. Keylan Abrams went up against those guys week after week. He was a defensive end at DeSoto. And I've been following, all these practice reports from Jeremy Clark, from Steven Johnson. I saw Steven Johnson on Twitter today putting out some news. Keylan Abrams had a sack today. Now, he was running with the third team, but he got to the quarterback. And that's not the first time I've seen his name pop up as, hey, this dude's disruptive. He's getting the backfield. Now, granted, yeah, usually it's running with the third team defense. And I've been sort of quiet about him because from a physical standpoint, it feels like this is a guy that's going to take him some time to put on some weight and get to a place where he can be a week-to-week contributor. But the reason that I've been fascinated by Keylan Abrams, and I'm ready to say it, I think this is a dude that can make an impact his freshman season. Now, I don't mean he's going to play half of the snaps as an edge rusher, as a stud linebacker. But, last year, and I've talked about this with a couple different guys. Once you get past the usual suspects, Devin Deal, Zach Chapman, you're looking for players who can be situationally really good. And Keylan Abrams, as a recruit, was a 3-star player. The reason I think he was a 3-star player is 6'2", 205 pounds. So a little light compared to what you would expect for a power 4 defensive end edge rusher. But let me tell you something. This dude's a ball player. He had, and this is not a mistake, this is real. He had 23 and a half sacks in his junior season. 23 and a half sacks in his junior season as a defensive end. His sophomore year, 74 tackles, 15 and a half tackles for loss, 10 and a half sacks. His senior year, those sack numbers went down a little bit. He had 9, but still, I mean, almost double-digit sacks. And as I said earlier, this is a guy that's playing at the highest level of Texas high school football. Is in the backfield constantly. And at that size, like that frame that I was talking about, 205 pounds, just a little bit over 6 feet tall, you would think, you turn on the film, and this is just a dude that is running past tackles at the line of scrimmage. Like, outstanding get off, has that ability to bend when he gets to the edge, and just use that speed rush, that athleticism to give tackles fits. Well, he does some of that. But when you turn on the tape, this is a dude that spent the majority of his time with his hand in the ground. Why is that important? Well, that means that they're asking him to do a little bit more than just be like a stand-up edge rusher, athletic speed type of player. And the pads are popping. Like, when he fires off the ball, he's not afraid of contact. This is not somebody who's just looking to run right past offensive linemen. High motor player. I mean, multiple plays where, second, third effort to chase down a quarterback, chase down a screen pass on the boundary. Has great athleticism. So to me, he's one of those guys. Maybe not all of the measurables check out, but he just makes plays. And yeah, of course, you say to yourself, well, there's, productive high school players everywhere. They get recruited. That's why they get recruited. Okay. But a career where you have 40 plus sacks and you're a 3-year starter at one of the premier programs in the state of Texas, that shows me something. And it's not like his offer. He had offers from Baylor and Texas Tech and others. It's not like this dude was really lightly recruited and TCU came in and said, hey, we want you to come play here. And he immediately was like, okay, this is my best offer. There were schools competing in the Big 12 and elsewhere. But if his role, and again, I'm not saying like he's going to play 30 to 40 snaps a game, but if his role is, could you come in with some fresh legs and give us a different look as a pass rusher and make some plays? Yeah, I think that's a possibility. I believe he's going to take some time. I don't expect him to be out there in week 1 against North Carolina. But if nothing else, with the redshirt rule, like you could get him to appear in 4 games. I watch him play and I'm super impressed. And working with the strength and conditioning staff at TCU, they can find a way to get him to a better playing weight while maintaining that speed, that athleticism, and even adding to it with the work that they do. But just keep an eye out for Keylan Abrams. Another freshman that's sort of under the radar, making some waves during spring camp, Jacoby Hayes. He's from Mansfield. He was a North Texas commit. And late in the recruiting process, TCU got him to flip over. 5'10", 175 pounds, had over 700 yards receiving his senior year, is also a track star. This is a dude with some serious speed. He can run, and he's had an impressive fall camp. Similarly to Keylan Abrams, it's often with the 2s and the 3s, but, according to practice reports, he's become one of Adam Schobel's favorite targets through these first couple of games and just has an ability and knack to get open. And that slot spot, so, Ed Small is a dude we've heard a lot about. I think he'll have his opportunities there. Major Everhart coming back from injury. Jordan Bailey apparently still not practicing. And we're at the point with Jordan, like, I've hyped him up a lot this offseason. I hope it works out. I want him to play. Maybe it's just a, small hey, we're out of precaution and, making sure we can put our best foot forward at the beginning of the year. We're not going to really push this. The best ability is availability. At a certain point, you have to get on the field and get these reps in to be a contributor. So I hope that he can do that soon because I love the athleticism. I love the explosiveness. I like the ability he has to take the top off the defense, but you have to be on the field so that you can get out there on Saturdays and execute at a high level. Joseph Manjack, it appears that he's going to stay on the outside and keep working there. That's just the vibe I'm getting right now. And I thought he would be maybe a factor at the slot, but not right now, at least, as they're kind of exploring their options elsewhere. Kendall Briles actually had a quote about Ed Small today. I'll pull that up quickly. And by today, I mean on Tuesday. You're listening to this on Wednesday. But Ed Small's story, if you don't know, he was actually a Texas baseball commit. Had a really good career at Austin Anderson High School and was committed to play baseball at Texas, flips his commitment to TCU. It really seems like Sonny Dykes believes in him and his ability to get open and make plays. Briles said he's as consistent as any player we have right now. He's tough. He's physical. He's a quarterback's friend. He's going to be a special player. I trust him all the way. JP Richardson, who's making things happen at Bears camp right now, that's a dude who could get open and can move the chains. And Ed Small seems to have that type of ability as well. There's somewhat of a learning curve for a freshman, but it feels like that's a guy that's going to get ample opportunities in this offense this upcoming season. When we come back, Big 12 basketball moving to Peacock. I'll explain next here on Locked On Horned Frogs, your team every day. In this next segment, I'll talk to you about a new streaming service you might have to get so you can watch TCU basketball. Those streaming services, man, I had this free trial. I forgot to cancel it. Oh, no, I got these recurring payments. Monarch Money can help you track those things. Go to monarchmoney.com. Use code LOCKEDONCollege for 50% off your first year. I was never great at math, but I know that means half off your first year at monarchmoney.com using the promo code LOCKEDONCollege. It's not just a budgeting app, even though it's very good at helping you identify where you need to cut back. It's also a wealth management center. You can put all your investment accounts there. You and your spouse can put all your accounts in one place. Monarch Money, make it really easy for you. monarchmoney.com. Again, Locked On College for 50% off your first order. Monarch Money, give it a try today. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. So saw this news on Tuesday. This is from the Sports Business Journal. The Big 12 is set to announce a new package of 20 men's regular season basketball games that'll be streamed on Peacock beginning in 2025, so this upcoming basketball season. The games are part of a sub-license agreement between Fox Sports and NBC that was facilitated by Fox Sports executive president and Brett Yormark. Financial details of the multi-year partnership were not immediately available, and the official announcement is expected today. The deal means the Big 12 will see its product broadcast by each of the 5 major networks in the college sports space: Fox, ESPN, NBC, CBS, and TNT. The internal hope of the strategy is that these media partners working with the conference can be exposed to Big 12's potential value ahead of the expiration of its current broader media rights deal with ESPN and Fox Sports that runs through 2031. So the shorter summarized version of this is there's going to be some Big 12 basketball games on Peacock, which is NBC's streaming service. And right now there's football games on ESPN and Fox Sports. There's basketball games on ESPN and CBS Sports this year. For the men, there were some women's games on Fox. That Baylor TCU women's Big 12 championship game was on Fox National this season. Not the Big 12 tournament championship, but the regular season finale that determined the Big 12 champion. TNT is going to get in on the action soon with the Big 12, and now NBC. And the reason I said earlier I don't think it's good news for fans is because originally the point of streaming and cutting the cord with cable was that you could save money and have more control of what you watch. But now with all these different subscription services and everything bouncing around, it means you need to buy this too if you want to watch TCU basketball, or you make that decision right now to say, I'll probably just pass on those couple of games. They're going to be available. It's just 20 games in 2025. It could increase from there out. I just want to throw it out to the audience. Do you have Peacock? Are you going to buy it to watch TCU basketball games? Let me know here in the YouTube comments. You can also tweet at me at SimcockSteven. But I understand why the Big 12 is doing this. And the reason that they're going after more TV partners is, as the article said, the current grant of rights agreement wraps up in 2031. And they need to show to as many TV partners as possible the value of this league. I did a segment a few weeks ago about North Carolina reportedly making the jump to the SEC potentially. That they've at least formed a committee to explore what it would look like if they moved on to the Southeastern Conference, right? Now 2029-2030 is the target date for that. And the reason for that is each year the exit fees to get out of the conference in the ACC go down. So North Carolina is trying to position themselves now so they can potentially make that move. If they do that and they leave with, like, say, Clemson or Florida State or however it shakes out, and the ACC is suddenly vulnerable, then the Big 12 could swoop in and maybe scoop up some more schools. And then that gives them more leverage when it comes to TV partners. So that's the long-term goal. And then the short-term goal of the SEC and the Big 10 are currently making more money with their media deals than the Big 12 is, and getting that money to member schools. We're walking into a world with revenue sharing now where schools are going to directly pay these athletes. So Brett Yormark has been, he's been thinking forward as long as he's been the commissioner about ways to get extra money to Big 12 schools. And he has been really laser focused on basketball. I think part of that is he has a basketball background. He used to work with the NBA. But also because he believes, like, there is something to sell with Big 12 basketball, and it can be separate from football. It is good enough that you can sell that product separately to TV networks. And so he's tried to do that by potentially adding UConn and Gonzaga. Big 12 presidents have said, no, we're not really interested in that. They did the Big 12 Hoops event in New York. And I don't know how much reach that had, but it was just trying to get more of a footprint in the East Coast and also, like, promote, hey, we have better hoops than anybody. So now you go ahead and sub-license these games to NBC and Peacock and allow them to put their stamp on it and get involved with Big 12 basketball, get some more eyeballs there. So I get it from the Big 12 standpoint. They're just doing everything they can to get some extra money in the pockets of these schools, and also think towards the future of how can we best position ourselves in the upcoming seasons so that we're front and center when it comes to making moves to get these TV deals done. But again, it's like, as fans, you got to go buy something else or do a free trial or something in the winter to get these games. And originally it felt like ESPN Plus was going to be like the hub for the majority of these sports outside of football. And I guess that's still the case. Like, pretty much all the baseball games are on ESPN Plus. Tennis, soccer, a lot of sports outside of football are parked there. But you're also seeing it migrate to other places, which means you got to keep up with that. But Big 12 trying to branch out and just get in relationship with more of these TV networks as we get closer to the next round of realignment. That's going to decide, the future of college football and beyond whenever that happens. When we come back, some of your thoughts and also TCU soccer pick to win the conference. We'll talk about that next year on Locked on Horned Frogs, your team every day. Eric Bell and TCU soccer, one of the most consistent programs on campus, went to the Elite Eight not that long ago, been to the Sweet 16 a few times, always in the NCAA tournament. They're picked to win the Big 12 this year in the TCU preseason bowl, the Big 12 soccer preseason poll. Frogs picked to win the whole thing. I know that their season falls in the middle of football season, and it's tough sometimes, but usually games are on ESPN Plus, a lot of games on Sunday afternoon, typically before like NFL action's in full swing. So just pay attention to it. Watch them from time to time. They play a really good brand of soccer. It's fun to watch. And again, he's just done an outstanding job. I was a student during his first season when he took the job, and I remember it was a big deal because he was part of that coaching staff at Florida State that won a national title. So it's been nice to see the way that he is kind of slowly led this program to improvement to where now they're a perennial NCAA tournament team and have won multiple Big 12 titles. So something to watch as their season will get underway just before football season starts. Coming up on Friday, I have an episode with Isaac Shade, who is the host of Locked on Tar Heels. We do sort of an early preview of North Carolina, who they're going to be, what that team's going to look like. We talk about Bill Belichick and his first season there, his college football debut as a head coach. We talk about Jordan Hudson a little bit. And I basically ask Isaac, is this a distraction, right? Is this relationship or all the off the field things that come with that? Is that a distraction to the team at all? So that'll drop on Friday. One interesting thing that he talked about that I'll talk more about on Thursday, but I've been under the impression that Gio Lopez, who is a transfer from South Alabama, will be North Carolina's quarterback, and that there's not any debate about that. He had a really good season at South Alabama last year, and he's a dual threat guy, can really run as well as make the throws. But he said that Max Johnson, which you recognize that name, Max was at A&M back in the day. He's coming off a pretty devastating injury, but Bill is hinted at, hey, there's a little bit of a QB battle going on here. So we'll see. Could we see a 2-quarterback system in that first game? I hope not, for TCU's sake, because that would just add to the challenge of preparing, right? Like Sonny said, we've watched, some Freddie Kitchens tape during his time in the NFL, specifically when he had Baker Mayfield as his quarterback, to try to make sense of what is he doing when he has a mobile quarterback back there. We've watched a lot of Washington tape and New England tape to start to piece together what's this defense going to be. But whole new roster, new coaching staff, very similar to that Colorado situation a few years ago. The thing that gives me optimism is that I think this TCU team has a lot more continuity than that TCU team that played Colorado did, and should be in a good mental space to go out there and handle their business and play at a high level. But season openers are always tough. I mean, you never really know what's going to happen when the whistle blows and the game starts and everything gets real. But yeah, just another wrinkle to that matchup now. Maybe there's a quarterback battle going on, or at the very least, Bill's playing it coy and is not going to reveal any sort of advantage or tip his hand before the season starts. I talked yesterday about TCU's tough schedule. It starts with that game against North Carolina. Landman says, I feel like we're good enough to pull off a great season, but every year I feel that. I love it. Optimism springs eternal. I think the optimism's warranted here. I'm very bullish on this team, but yeah, they got to go out there and prove it. And, I've been wrong before. I hope I'm not this year, but I believe this is what they've been building towards now for a couple seasons. And it's just about executing at this point and showing up with the team that we think they are once the game starts and playing at a high level. Josh Hoover can be a huge part of that. Eric McAllister, a lot of good players on this team that just need to step up and make things happen. We'll be back tomorrow and on Friday. It's Locked On Horned Frogs, your team every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Let's get to 1,500 before the season starts.